Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to go over some bronzers. So I am a person who never really used bronzer much. Every time I tried it, I never enjoyed the way it looked on me. And so I've really stayed away from them for the past few years. One of my New Year's resolutions for 2020 was to play around with bronzers and see if I could find one that I liked. So this summer, I kind of bought quite a few bronzers and we're gonna go over those today and I will show you my rankings. The first bronzer that I bought this year is the Tom Ford Glow Bronzer in number 2, Terra. And I bought the mini size, but it does come in a much larger pan as well. So this is Terra. Next up, I purchased the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in number 1. This is the fair or pale shade. Then I have the Chantecaille Real Bronze in Goa. The Gucci bronzer in number 1, Fair. And I have to say, I've been using this nonstop and it still looks new. My most recent addition is the Cosa bronzer in Light. This is the soft bronze shade. And then I have just a sample of this, but I've been playing around with the Chantecaille, I think it's called, the Radiance Gel bronzer or something, but it's the liquid and it comes in a tube. And that's this one here. And people love this. Let me show you. You can really sheer it out. And just for color reference here, I'm going to show you the Westman Atelier. This is a contour stick in Biscuit. And I do have some other contour shades, but in general, your contour shades are going to be a little bit more grayer and neutral. And you can see that this one here, it does have some warmth to it. And I know some people do actually use it more as a bronzer. I don't, but it is, an option. Let's take a look at all of these shades here. So this here is the Tom Ford Terra, and it's a pretty neutral for a bronzer. And out of these, it's the most similar to the Gucci bronzer in Fair. The Gucci bronzer in Fair has a little bit more pink to it, which works really well for my skin because I do have natural redness in my skin. And I think it gives that a little bit of that look like sun-kissed look where, when you're fair skin and you're on the sun, your skin doesn't turn tan, it turns pink. So it's a little bit more reminiscent of that. Then we have the Charlotte Tilbury here, and you can see that's going to be a lot more yellow. But when I first got it, it wore really well at that time of year. So I think during the cooler months, I'll be picking this up more, but during the summer months, I like something a little bit more brown. The Goa from Chantecaille is a richer cocoa brown with a touch of red in it as well, and I like that touch of red. I think that helps. Again, this is the Gucci bronzer in Fair, which is kind of a medium brown with a touch of pink. And then we have the Cosa bronzer in soft bronze or light, and you can see this one's going to be a little bit more yellow. It's kind of a mix of the Charlotte Tilbury and the Gucci, but I'm not sure if you can really pick it up. It's got more of a shimmery metallic finish to it. And then we have the Real Bronze, or not Real Bronze, whatever, the Radiance Gel Bronzer from Chantecaille. And this one, it's just a little bit more orangey to me. I personally don't like it on myself, but I've seen it on other people with fair skin and it can look incredible. And you can sheer it out. You can mix it into different foundations and things. So that's nice. And then here's the contour stick from Westman Atelier, which I personally use as a contour. It's a little bit cooler tone. My personal favorite bronzer is the Gucci. The Gucci bronzer I use almost every single day. The compact is gorgeous. I love this Tiffany blue color, and you've got the nice gold outside, and you can see, it's actually like ribbed. And I mean, even the bottom, you've got the same kind of spirograph type design that you have inside on the bronzer. Got a mirror up here, and if you pull this back, that will lift up this tray, and you have a little half moon brush that matches the outside of the packet. And you know, if you didn't want to keep the brush in here, you could easily put in something else as well. So this is refillable. I love the packaging, but most importantly, I love this actual product. I like the touch of pink, and I just think this is what I have on today, and I just think it's the most natural looking bronzer on me. So I love this. This is my number one. Again, I wear it almost every single day. It does have a little bit of a scent, but it doesn't bother me because, well, first of all, it dissipates, and secondly, it's over here. It's not really by my nose. So yeah, for me, number one is the Gucci bronzer. Next up is actually the Chantecaille bronzer in Goa, and although that is much darker, you can go in with a light hand of this as well, and I just think it gives a nice richness to the skin. And my favorite part about this bronzer is the actual formula here. I think this, out of all the bronzers, I think this might be my favorite formula for the bronzers, but you know, I like the shade of the Gucci a little bit better. So this is my number two because, I mean, this formula, it's creamy and it's pigmented, but you can put it on, here, I'll just go here. You can put it on lightly, you can spread it out, and it's kind of like a gel powder type consistency. And I just think the formula itself is lovely. The level of sheen that you get is, you know, it's exactly what I'm looking for. So it's not going to be super shiny or anything, but it's not a flat matte either. So this would be my number two. Number three is going to be the Tom Ford Terra. And again, this is a classic bronzer. It's pretty similar to the Gucci bronzer in Fair, but this is number three because, well, the color is a little bit, you know, it doesn't have quite as much pink in it. I think it's great for year round. I like the formula. You know, there's really nothing not to like about this bronzer. So it made it to my number three spot. Next up, we have the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in Fair. And I absolutely love the formula of this one as well. Obviously, you have a gigantic pan size here. And so this will last me like the rest of my life. But it is a little yellow. It made it to number four, however, because the formula is so great and this more yellowish tone actually works well for the majority of the year. So I think I'll be picking this up more again in the cooler months. And it just gives the slightest hint of color, but it's not really like a bronze suntan look, which is what I'm usually going for. I just want a little bit of warmth to my face. So this made it to number four, but honestly, it was really hard to choose between the Tom Ford Terra and this for number three. They're sort of tied. I went with Tom Ford Terra just because I think the color is a little bit better, but you know, honestly, it was pretty close. Next up, we have the Cosa bronzer, and although it is my, you know, number five on the list, it's not that I don't like it, because I do. I think it's a great formula and I like the color of it, but it's just got a little bit too much shimmer for me in most situations. I think it looks great if you're going for that beachy, bronzy look, and you know, I don't wear that frequently. So for me, this is a bronzer I'll really only reach for during the summer and only with certain looks when I want more shine and radiance. So although I do really like this color and this formula, the sheen on it is what brought it down the list for me. And last up is the sample I have of the Chantecaille gel bronzer. And that's no surprise because I already mentioned that I don't like that one on me. It's too much of this orangey shade. And, you know, I have never found a good way to wear it where it looks natural on me. Whether I put it under or over foundation, I still see that orange, more clown-like look for myself. And I don't like it. Now, the Westman Atelier contour stick I didn't rank since it's not a bronzer, but I do really like the shade, but I use it as a contour and not a bronzer. I hope that was helpful to see my rankings and thoughts on these bronzers. I would love to know what you like and what you've been reaching for the most this summer. I definitely have more bronzers on my list of ones that I want to try, but I think I'm going to wait again until next summer. I've got plenty to play with until then, but I would love to hear your recommendations. So please leave them down below in the comments. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already and hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you soon.